Well, Taylor, how's your day going aside from, talking a ton about any day now and being asked about yourself way too much?
Yeah, no, it's been a good day. I had a little break in between, but it was travel. So I went from Boston to New York, but I landed. I'm all good.
Well, really, thank you for taking the time. You're one of those people where there's like five recent projects to talk about, but any day now is the new one. So how much prep was needed for this role?
It was fun. It was a role that has a backstory based in reality. So
Hmm.
the research was pretty straightforward, but the one bit about it is that no one knows what exactly happened. So we got to sort of
Sure.
shade in a bit of fiction into this world and bring the most entertaining sides forward. So it was really fun to like deep dive into Boston during the 90s and what the sort of ethos of that city was.
Where in Boston was this filmed around?
We were sort of everywhere. The Paul Guilfoyle, who was opposite me, he's from Boston. So him and the director Eric Aronson were sort of tour guides for me, along with sort of guides through the film. But we were in uh, South Boston all the way up to Somerville. We were in Cambridge a bit. We were sort of everywhere.
Wow. Had you filmed much in Boston before this role?
I'd been to Boston before, but I've never filmed there. So it was really sweet to really just dive into the city.
So you pointed out the whole 90s aspect to any day now. And speaking to your versatility, 90s on this role, SNL, that's more of a 70s kind of thing. Renner is kind of the future. Star Wars is kind of the future. So I think you're kind of agreeable to whatever era with your roles. You're not pigeonholing yourself to a particular era.
I appreciate that. I need you to tell my agents that. It's it's any time in history. We just need to bring it back to like 5 BC and really experiment. But you're right. I mean, the futuristic things, it seems like more and more projects are veering off into that. And obviously with sci-fi, they kind of exist anywhere. But SNL took it back to 75. And again, that was something that was dropped into a real event. So it was cool to go back and read books and watch films of the time.
So what I was talking about with the whole how much should you prep for this role kind of thing, a lot of people would do the Daniel Day-Lewis thing where they go, so my profession is I'm working at a desk, so I'm going to be a night watchman for a week, and then I'm going to learn how to do heist kind of stuff. Obviously, you don't want to do heist stuff in real life, but did you do any sort of prep along those lines for those professions related to your character?
For this one, actually, you know what? I didn't do any of the security guard thing. I tried to watch over some buildings at night, and I figured that was pretty stupid. But he was a musician at the time. This security guard, he was going to the Berklee School of Music, and
Hmm.
in Any Day Now, there's a whole musical element to it. And so every
Sure.
night, I was probably playing guitar for anywhere from an hour to 2 hours, just going over different songs that we had, and also just sort of trying to embrace that life that he was living, which was he was a freelance musician who was in serious debt. And so I just drank some beer and played some music.
Uh, do you recall which venues or spots you were playing in? Because Cambridge, hell of a music scene. I mean, Boston, the Cars, Aerosmith came out of there, but so did a lot of great power pop bands. The Pixies, of course, as well.
Oh, the Pixies, that's right. Yeah, no, a lot of cool bands. The music scene is great. We actually were just back in Boston last night for St. Patrick's Day and a big screening, and we went to the Burn, which was really cool to watch some like Irish trad music for St. Patrick's Day. But then also there was a band playing of it seemed like a bunch of students, and they were incredible. I also heard that the Toad has a sort of the teachers at Berkeley have a band
Hmm.
on Mondays, a jazz band, which also sounds like a great time.
So you spoke about playing guitar. So is anything happening for you on the musical end?
No, I keep my music to just the projects and the acting that serves that. I'm always going to be playing guitar for myself and sort of noodling and writing little jigs down as they come to me, but I'm not putting any music out. If I ever did, I play saxophone as well. I would go for like a solo sax album.
Okay. Andre 3000 kind of showed that you could always take a musical detour with this whole flute kind of thing, but what's your primary guitar?
I play acoustic guitar. I mean, I'll play along to sort of anything. Now that Timothy Chalamet's done Bob Dylan, that was my one hope. I could probably play 20 Bob Dylan songs just off memory. And Beatles. I grew up my dad's a huge Beatles fan, so my brother and I would sort of noodle on every Beatles song.
Is it classic rock as to why you started playing guitar, or was it Green Day?
Actually, it's classic rock. I think I learned the first song I ever learned was Blackbird by the Beatles.
What that is a really, really tough first song to play. So literally you bought a guitar and Blackbird's the first song?
My dad's a tough father, very loving father. He bought me a guitar and he was like, "This is the music I like." And obviously, you grow up, you're trying to impress your dad, and
Yeah.
I think, yeah, my brother and I used to just sit in our rooms, and I remember like one of the only saved tabs I had on my computer at the time was
Yes.
ultimateguitartabs.com. And I lived on that site for years. And it's so funny because I hadn't played up until any day now. I hadn't played that much guitar for a few years, just getting busy with different jobs. And it's amazing how it all kind of sticks with you. Like just from all the muscle memory is still there.
To show I know what you're talking about, it's
It's
ultimate-guitar.com.
ultimate that it is, you know exactly what it is.
I think Harmony Central was the other tab site from that era.
Okay, I'm not as familiar with that one. I just know I had so many tabs saved on Ultimate Guitar Tabs.
Wow. Oh, I'm really, really, really questioning this whole Blackbird as the first song thing because that's not bar chords, that's not open
No,
chords.
it's finger picking. I will say this. After Blackbird, I learned Girl from Ipanema. So if that tells you what world I was living in, I was really playing. I had a music teacher and we learned on we were just playing classical guitar and he was incredible.
Wow. Okay. So you pointed out the Chalamet, Bob Dylan kind of thing. Of course, there's the Jeremy Allen White,
That's right.
Springsteen one, which keeps getting
Yep.
delayed and then reshot and whatever. Is there somebody that you'd go, hey, I'm the person to do that musical biopic kind of character thing?
Oh man, you're putting me on the spot. I know they're about to do the Beatles. That's very cool. That's just at the front of my mind right now. I'm trying to think something in that 90s in like the Pixies era. That would be very cool. Also, I've been told before by people, I don't know who it is, someone in the Monkees, the band. People have said that I reminded them, so that I've just heard that a bit. But musically, I mean, anything the Stones would be really cool. The Doors movie they made was amazing with was that Val Kilmer?
Val Kilmer, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm just thinking classic rock, but maybe some modern day musician would also be very fun. I don't know.
So I guess we're going to have to keep watching to see where you evolve to. So any day now is the new movie, but are we allowed to know what's next from you?
Yeah, I have a couple movies that I shot recently. As you mentioned, this movie Renner had just come out, and
Hmm.
then I have this movie called Terrestrial that Steve Pink directed that comes out later this year. I have no idea when.
So Renner, I had the pleasure of speaking with Frankie and the director as part of the junket with that whole thing.
Oh,
And
nice.
did that mess with your head at all, the AI possibilities?
It definitely raised some existential questions, didn't it? I mean, what that brings up, I think more and more we're going to see what like Black Mirror is doing, these sort of not
Hmm.
even futuristic, but AI related films and storylines. And who knows where it's going to go. Before too long, they're going to be writing their own scripts about them. I'm
Oh,
already referring to them as them.
exactly. So, two quick questions, and that ties into the last thing that I got. You're a multifaceted performer. Any creative projects on the horizon that you eventually see yourself where you're the writer and producer, writer and director?
Yeah, I have one that's very close to my heart, very near and dear that I've written and will be acting in that we're trying to get together this year, and everything is sort of pointing to later this year and making it. And I'm really looking forward to that. And then I also just started a podcast recently. iHeart Radio approached myself and some of the cast members from Star Wars Rebels. And so we have the first, actually, I think the second episode dropped today.
Wow.
The reception's been really great. So anyone who watched Star Wars Rebels or likes anything in the Star Wars universe, they can check that out anywhere that podcasts are found. It's called Pod of Rebellion.
I've got some homework to do. And the last question, speaking to your Instagram, what makes a top three dinner guest?
Oh, that's a great question. I've changed that around a bit. You'll have to invite me to dinner to find out. But
Mhm.
uh, I I used to always ask people when I was young, like, who are the top three people that you would want to have to a dinner, dead or alive? So it's sort of a little inside joke with a handful of my friends. But yeah, I hope that I could live up to that.
Well, if I could follow up on that before I let you go, did you see the Curb Your Enthusiasm subplot about whether or not you could sit middle at a dinner?
No, no, but I can only imagine. I'm already imagining where his storylines would go with that.
Long story short, they're having a dinner party and they decide whether or not a person is capable of guiding the whole conversation. If they
Sure.
can't, they're not allowed to sit towards the middle of the table. I think confidently you could sit middle, you could run middle on a
Oh,
dinner
thank you
party.
very much.
Okay. Well, Taylor, congrats on Any Day Now. Looking forward to what's next. And congrats on the new podcast.
Thank you so much. It's great talking to you.
Paltrocast.